please join me. Good Shabbos, good to see you. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Yay, da, 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 bim, bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Yay, da, 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 bim. Bam,
bim, 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 bam. Bim, bim, bim,
bim, bim, bam.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos,
Help
everybody.
us out as we always do to come together as a community, whether you're watching online, tell us where you're watching from and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom, or all of us here together. Some are worried to be too hot, but like 2/3 of us are in the shade. The seats are, the grass is in the shade. But say hi to someone, introduce yourself, wish them a good Shabbat so we can become a community right now together as well.
Yeah.
Lots of kissing going on here.
Shabbat Shalom. Mwah.
Thanks. Okay, now that we've had fun, let's get serious. No. As we get ready to start our services. Okay, I'm going to draw a line. Gonna leave my middle school maturity now. Candace's going to help me with that.
I come with joy, I come with hope, I come with vision and intention, I come with prayer, I come with love, with searching and sacred questions. Hineni, here I am. I come with peace of mind. I know just where I stand. Here I am.
You know, in the busyness of our lives and all the things we do, we so infrequently take time to pause and to reflect and to just be present and appreciate the stillness that we can create in our own life. To have a moment that can help frame that perspective that's so important in our everyday. So I ask you as we begin our Shabbat tonight, maybe even close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, breathing in God's gift to each and every one of us, breathing out our gift to this world. And to still our own voices, to attune ourselves to our world, to our lives, to appreciate the blessings that we do have. And our ability to sense that which is in our world. A beautiful essay was shared with me the other day from the Atlantic about the concept that animals can only appreciate, can only sense their own little bubble. No sense of perspective of what's beyond what they do. As an insect is drawn to light, not realizing what is real or what is man-made. Or an animal that needs to hibernate as seasons change, only knows itself, its innate needs. We, humans, are the only animal that can appreciate what they're doing as well as what we're doing. The challenge is sometimes we actually encapsulate ourselves in our own bubble and forget about the rest of the world. We forget about the connections that we have with one another in our own congregation, our own community, our own neighborhoods, connections we have with people across the globe. Those that we think of, those we know, maybe we're even already celebrating Shabbat. It is an amazing sense with what we can do with time today and how we communicate through the use of technology. But that realization of what our technology, what our advancements sometimes cloud. Having just returned from Israel, and that being able to walk in places where the light pollution doesn't exist like it does around us. You look up and see the sky filled iridescently with a myriad of stars. Yes, not as clear as what the Webb telescope has given us in these past weeks and those gifts of those images that are beyond miraculous. We had no idea what exists and how teeny we are, yet that idea of the connections we have. And when I'm on the land of Israel, physically looking at those stars, for anyone who's been there with me, you know the idea of looking at stars that are thousands of light years away, realizing that they're actually burning when Abraham walked there, or King David was there, and what that means for time. That's what makes us unique as humans, that perspective that goes beyond our own little insulation, our own bubble, and our appreciation of all those blessings that do surround us, that are there. So as we pause for these minutes on Shabbat, this time that we notice our Shabbat, that's the gift that we have. To say to ourselves, Hineni, I'm here. Hineni, here I am. I'm aware, I'm conscious, I'm engaged, I'm connected.
Where you go, I will go. Where you lead, I will follow. Your people will be mine, and your God will be my God. We welcome you with open arms, with joy and hope, with prayer and love. We welcome you with trust and pride, with history and with family. Hineni, here I am. Hineni, here I am. I come with peace of mind. I come with peace of mind. I know just where I stand. I know just where I stand. Here I am. Here I am. Oh, yes. Here I am one more time. Here I am. Here we are.
So now, as we are together as a community, so can we stand if we're so able and comfortable as we join in our call to worship the Baruch Hu.
Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Shelter us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shivantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'betecha ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לראות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
I was thinking, getting ready for services tonight, why I was so looking forward to them. What was making me excited for services to be together. And yes, the oneg is always a blessing, you know, we know that, and how I think, of course. But more than that, I think it's about the idea of being together, of community. You know, we do our work, we go to our offices, we engage differently, but there's something about seeing one another and sharing time together, and there's something about this time of year. I know a lot of people are worried, Gary Schumann, about it being too hot, and would be okay, be outside. Will you affirm right now how beautiful it is, and right, there's no humidity? I have connections. So it's a perfect evening, and it's summertime, and we love that. And there's a cool breeze, and it's just peaceful and calm. And so much in our world isn't peaceful and calm, but we create this time in space. As Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel taught, there's an island in time, and this is our island. This is our space that is sacred time, that we come together calm and peaceful and lovely. And yes, summer long evenings help. They lift our spirit. They lift our soul. The rabbis tell us that we're given a blessing on Shabbat. So it's good to notice these things, that you get an extra soul, a second soul that's planted into us each week on Shabbat. So why would you need a second soul? It's nothing wrong with the first soul. It's the idea that it makes us a little more aware, a little more attuned to what is precious in our life, what is special in our life, those blessings that we want to hold on to. Because all of us here have lived, and all of us here have experienced the difficulties in life, and the challenges, and the frustrations, and the pains. And so we have blessings like an evening like this that we look forward to and experience. We want to hold on to that. We want to hold on to what that makes us, how it makes us feel and what it gives to us, so that we can get through the challenges too, knowing we're not alone, and knowing we have the support and the love of others around us, and that should difficult things happen in our world, in our lives, we're able, like generations before us, hundreds of years, if not thousands, have found a way to find hope and to make this work. And it's why at night we say a prayer that says we want to hold on to this moment, and we want it tomorrow as well. That extra soul helps us hold on to it. To say, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom va'amidenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Let us lie down in peace, God. Permit us to wake up in the security of knowing we're safe and loved. Be a shield around us. Keep enemies, disease, violence, homelessness, hunger far away from those we love. Be a shelter over us to protect us, so we can appreciate and hold on to the blessings that are so much a part of who we are tonight.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamiteinu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamiteinu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha l'chaim shalom meta v'yad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamiteinu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamiteinu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmol tziteinu uvereinu l'chaim shalom meta v'yad olam. Meta v'yad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamiteinu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamiteinu malkeinu l'chaim.
I was thinking about all the things that happen in our lives that get us to this moment right now. The things intentional, things random, the things planned, the things we had no idea to anticipate. And the realities of those trajectories in each and every one of our lives to bring us to where we live, to bring us who we share time with, to bring us to Temple Shir Shalom 6:30 on a Friday evening. Or if you're somewhere walking in now whose name I won't mention, 6:55. Your husband. But the idea of what happens in life and what we create, what we make of that. And for the great philosopher and theologian of the 20th century, Martin Buber, it's in those connections with humanity where God exists. Because all of the things that are the random occurrences or the intentional occurrences, what impacts us the most are the connections with other people, other individuals in our lives, those we share this world with, and that constant that we all can reflect on different things, different times, different moments that got us here right now, in this moment right now. And I don't mean physically now, I mean each of us in our lives and where we are and what we're doing. And you know, as we do that, it's so transient in a sense and amorphous because a lot of twists and turns could have taken us in different directions. But what I love is the idea that any of us could walk into any synagogue in the world on Shabbat and hear the same prayers. Hear the same central prayers of worship as a part of who we are as a people. The idea that for thousands of years, some prayers hundreds of years, but that the rabbis, as they were beginning a movement in a sense when the first temple was destroyed 2,600 years ago. And we were carried off into Babylonia, and they thought, well, what now? What do we do? What are we supposed to do? We can't sacrifice animals anymore. There's no temple in Jerusalem. And what are we going to do? And they began to create prayer differently than what they had before. Right? Prayer was, you would recite a psalm. You'd walk up the steps into Jerusalem, in the southern steps, and as you walked up, and they were spaced out differently, so you had to be very intentional about it, you would say, I lift my eyes to the heavens. What's the source of my help? My help comes from Adonai, maker of heaven and earth. The Psalms. That was the prayers we said. But now we're not in Jerusalem, and what do? And they wrote prayers that we still say today. And so they said, well, I'm figuring out my relationship with God, so I look to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, Rachel, our ancestors who each had a unique relationship with God, and find inspiration in that, whatever I might do. So I love that we happen to be here tonight, intentional as that is for all of us, but we could be anywhere. And these same prayers, these same thoughts enter our minds and become our own for us as individuals, linking us with a people. What's that? That helps.
A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind, joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind. There is a song on the wind, and joy in the trees. Joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the song in the silence of the night. Scattering the song in the silence of the night. And eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day.
Please rise.
Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehila Techa. Adonai, Svatai, Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehila Techa. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu ve'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, הנורא אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עבר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
In presence of Torah in the midst of our prayer, so do our thoughts turn to those in need of healing and strength. As we walk around with the Torah, of course, we reach out, we touch it, we link ourselves with those who are in need at this time. And just as Torah has been a source of strength for our people for thousands of years, so does it continue to be that source of hope for us as well. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak Yaakov, Ve'imotenu Sarkolei Avrachel. Who Yivarech at the holy, merciful God who has blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. Send your blessings to our loved ones who are stricken with illness, anxiety, friends, and family we think of at this time. Alyssa Otto and Alan Edelberg, Amy Drysdale Atler, Shannon Bacon, Mickey Berg, Doreen Billett, Michael Brody, Karen Kasman, Chava Rachel Esther, Baz Shana Rivka, Patty Seresny, Stephen Chadwick, Rick DeRoven, Megan Dox, Brett Eisen, Michael Eisen, Elisheva Batsara, Barbara Esrig, Richard Finkel, Richard Gotro, Ken Golos, Nancy Golos, Todd Graham, Batya Batpesha Panina, Andrew Hago, Ava Haberkornholm, Taya Hall, Hank Heiser, Ann Horn, Carol Kaufman, Serafina Coffrin, Karen Coltoneau, Marta Lazar, Henry Leopold, Libby McIntyre, Zoe Marcus, Joyce Maza, Sharon Majeski, Teresa Miji, Allison Mertzman, Tony Michaels, Marlene Miller, Gail Mintz, Lev Herschel Ben Bat Ami, Linda Newman, Rabbi Robert Nosenchuk, Reza Leah Miriam, Leah Elishevat Abram Bachana, Susan Perlman, Mary Pilbin, Melanie Pohl, Joanne Reed, Rachel Mibet Chaim Bachava, Marcy Fisher Reiners, the St. Amand family, Karen Schulman, Bernard Sklar, Roberta Sanino, Pamela Margula Stone, Barbara Storm, Leo Tosto, Justin Weber. All those, of course, battling coronavirus. 32,455 American troops who've been injured in Iraq, the surrounding areas to date, and all the names in our hearts. Baruch atah Adonai Rapha Cholim. Bless you, God, give strength to those in need.
Source of strength, who blessed the ones refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת כנראה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
I always feel one of the most powerful moments in our prayers is as we prepare for the mourner's Kaddish. And a reminder that we're told that we have to be in at least a community of 10 people as we say this prayer. And often people ask when they're home after they've had a loss and Shiva's ended, is it okay for them to say it by themselves? And the words, we can. It's just a praise of God, actually. Nowhere does the prayer mention death. It gives thanks for the gift of life and God's presence in our world and the blessings that we feel and have sensed around us as well. But the idea, the tradition developed that we shouldn't be alone is the idea that we don't leave mourners alone, that we support one another, we look out after each other and check in on each other. And that reminder of how important that is. And so as we prepare for Mourner's Kaddish, so do we think of those friends and family of our community we've lost in this past week and month whose Shoshim we mark. Jack Holmes, Scott Stashinsky, Sally Kohlenberg, Judy Faxon, Caroline Sherbin, Marilyn Shapiro-Lease, Jane Jacobs, Rita Seidman, David Foster, as well as the 4,586 Americans of our armed forces who've been killed in Iraq and the surrounding areas to date. 1,026,294 Americans have lost their lives to the coronavirus. Linking their names and names whose yordshites we mark on the Shabbat, those anniversary of passing we lovingly commemorate. Irene Alpiner, Julie Cahill, Sydney Chiswick, Marcia Cohen, Melba Cohen, Samuel Cohen, Sam Fishman, Paul Fulton, Manny Foner, Jean Garbio, Eleanor Galick, Sidney Geller, Jean Gold, Saul Gross, Stephen R. Hoff, Larry Klegman, Irving Cleef, Otto Maringer, Jean Maxwell, Anna Moroff, Sheila Naster, Max Nosenchuk, Ray Pivos, Betty Rosenblatt, Bertha Rosenfeld, Ernestine Schott, Anita Silberman, Carrie Simon, Stephen Louis Slomovitz, Milton Smith, Diane Stahl, Rabbi Sherwin Wine, Betty Yolis, Maura Zucker, Louis Zucker. And linking their names to all the names that we do not recite in the Shabbat. Those of every faith and family, those whose lives have touched ours, as well as those who have no one to stand and say Kaddish for them. So do we stand together as one community, as one family, and join the immortal words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, Bialma divra chirate bial michma chute. B'chaya chon u'yom echon u'chayete cho Beit Yisrael. Bagalau ubizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mavarach le'alam amea maya. Yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh. V'nadar v'nalal shemei d'kudisho b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Ta'maram b'yama v'imru. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Oseh shalom b'mamav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
The source of peace, and peace to those who mourn, comfort to those who are bereaved, here and everywhere. And let us all say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mamav. Huya aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav. Huya aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbos.
And proof to everyone that we're in the shade during services and how much we're enjoying it. Yay! Can prove this. Anyone questions me this week, show them that little picture, send it out. So a number of special things. One, we do have an oneg in a moment after we make motzi, and we'll enjoy that together. It's nice. We just wanted to create some time for us to share and to be a community. While we're there, of course, opportunity for you to make more tiles if you haven't yet. And so we're creating an art display in the stairway that will be our preschool stairway or educational stairway in the back, part of our addition. The stairway is already there, but it will be used a lot more. And so it will be filled with our tile configurations, and each of us can make these 4x4 tiles, as many as we want in a sense, with our families on them or artistic representations, and we'll put them all together when the project's done, and so you still have time to do these.
6x6.
6x6 is what I meant. I'm not going to make any comment about what I think is 6 and what I think is 4, but anyway, so, what? What are you guys, you're horrible. So anyway, so, I said 8th grade sense of humor. That's right. That's why I did so well in Israel with the high schoolers, right? 4th grade? No, come on, give me a little more credit to that. So, and these 6x6 inch tiles will be there permanently as part of our welcome as you come in through to that area of our addition. We're excited about that, and so we want you to be a part of it. And the time capsule is still open. The time capsule will be put into the addition as well, behind a wall with a little thing that can opened only in 25 years. So with a secret on there, a lock that only I will know, and I might take that secret with me. So who knows? I don't know. It's going to be in the wall, though. Sort of cool. Someone asked about our Geniza as well. Our Geniza right now is pretty much full. So our Geniza, which is a sacred storage place for sacred objects, right? So anything that's got God's name on it, a photocopy of commentaries of Torah that our kids use for bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, or old taluses or prayer books we've thrown in there for the past 27 years. Rabbi Schwartz, who we love, told me, oh, it's the entire space under the grandstand. It's a walk-in closet. So we have filled it. We're going to find some smaller people who are going to crawl in through there. I'm not kidding. And they're going to help us pull out all that's in there, and we're going to bury it in the foundation of our addition, because you can take sacred things and bury them. And so that's actually what we do sometimes. We take books to Machpelah. They'll bury that with and they'll bury that as part of services as well. So it's sort of nice that we can do that, and then we'll have an empty Geniza as well. So I'm looking for volunteers for some of our preschoolers, Evie, that will go in there, the 4-year-olds that will be a part of that. What's that? Train the dog to go in there? A Geniza rescue dog. Julie's much better after that, I think. Yeah, she's limber and small. So, before we break for our Oneg Tish moment question, anything that you may be curious about or not? Yes. We're going to let the small people back out of the Geniza. Maybe. That's when we really raise the money. Do you want to get them out or not? That's right. New parenting techniques. It's part of the preschool timeout sessions, right? Just drop them off there. Wait, is the video still running? Thanks. Yeah, Stacy. Yes. There are 2 holes in the wedding wall, the structure behind me as well. So the intent of this initially was it would be a chuppah. And there are these giant metal poles that we have, and there was a permanent tapestry that hung over that for a number of years that we used. And the idea was that we could use this for weddings out here in the garden, and that's why those holes were there. It became worn over time, and it was so high up. It wasn't the feeling of a chuppah that we necessarily wanted, right? And so we decided to take that down a number of years ago. But you could put other fun things there too. What's that? We could. No, we have those poles actually. We still have them. It was this we could do lower ones? I don't know, but with the fountain there, I like the view. Well, I get to make the decisions now. So I like this view. And I felt it was it closed it in more, and I think it's more the expanse and what the artwork represents for me in that sense too. And I love when we're out here for a wedding when people hold the chuppah and what that sort of represents too. So, but, you can choose to do different things. Yes, Gail. The 2 souls that come on Shabbat. No, so you get an extra, you always have a soul, despite what Harvey says. There's always a soul within you, and but on Shabbat, an extra soul is placed in you, and then it leaves after Shabbat. So actually, there's a concept that our soul leaves us every night when we go to sleep. So a traditional rabbinic concept is that when we go to sleep at night, our soul leaves us. When we wake up, if, God willing, we awake, God breathed that soul right back into us. And so that's why the first prayer we say in the morning, traditionally, I thank you, God, for placing the soul in me. God full of compassion and graciousness and strength that makes this possible. So the idea, they said that because they believed the soul would leave us. They didn't understand sleep. Not that we do either, necessarily. But the idea, I wonder what happens to me that now that I wake up twice every night, does the soul leave and come back and leave and come back? It's really fickle. I don't know. I don't sleep as well as I used to. So, or you're up at 4 in the morning and you're like, God, put the soul back. I got to get back to work now. So I want to be constructive. So, but that's where the concept comes. The extra soul. The idea of our soul leaving us at night 2,000 years ago. It's a rabbinic concept of sleep and death, and the idea because that they knew people who didn't wake up in the morning, and that was the concept connected to it. The idea of a second soul coming to us was a Kabbalistic concept that developed 500 years ago, and the idea of what this day can do for us. And so the soul helps us appreciate and sense the blessings in our life. The soul leaves us, but those blessings stay. Our awareness of it is still a part of us and carries us the other 6 days now of the week. Yes. Good question. These are all good questions tonight, Frank. So do you have to see sunrise and sunset to know when Shabbat begins or ends? And so for us, my phone tells me exactly. So literally, because I use HebeCow and it's synced with my calendar, it says exactly what time Shabbat begins and what time your candles need to be kindled by. So technology helps us in that sense, and we know that. Tradition was that they would gauge it by time, and so if it were cloudy and rainy and they couldn't see 3 stars in the sky, how would they know? And so they would gauge it by the time of year as well. But there's always a concept of building a fence around the law, so you do it either 18 minutes early or 18 minutes later. So you don't do it right when Shabbat begins, or right when you have to wait and go a little bit earlier to make sure, God forbid, I kindle my candles and Shabbat was already here. So, and there's amazing laws. The Talmud, as weird as we may see it for us as contemporary Jews, is brilliant because it was dealing with real life realities for their lives 2,000, 1,500 years ago and building upon it each generation. And what happened is it got written down and then became codified. But originally it was all oral and it built upon, each generation. So they have a whole structure for what happens if you're blind. And how do you know these things? Because one of the ideas is, when do you say your morning prayers? The whole debate in the Talmud. When I can see my animals in my farm and I can tell the difference between the horse and the donkey. Then it's light enough to tell, but what happens if, you don't have these animals? What then? And they come down to the idea that I can see the stripes of my talus, between the blue of my talus and the white. When I can see, that's when it's light enough to say my morning prayers. But they talk about what happens when you're blind, and a blind person shouldn't be alone, and so that's why they're guided by other people. Lionel, in deference to the ONEG, you can come and ask me the question after, okay? But I want to get to our food, and I can see people getting antsy. I can hear my friend over there, Theo's getting really antsy, and so, but we like that. So we give thanks for the sweetness of this day and the joy of our time together as we join with Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. Okay. That was tasty. Yes.
It's all about, do we share food and we all touch and manhandle it during COVID? So we started something called, the CAYA lottery each Shabbat. Like, Rabbi, can't we choose one family who gets it? It's up to them if they want to share it. But since, they're like a full family here, come on, right? Go Minkin's over here. Theo and Evie get this as we join together in the Motzi.
Motzi lechem min haaretz.
We give thanks to God
for bread. Our voices rise in song together
as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi
lechem min haaretz.
It was fun. I was talking about Alex and Sharon on Teen Mission. Because there was a couple, 2 kids, high school juniors, who began dating on the Teen Mission. And I said, you never know what's going to happen. They met on Teen Mission 2004. Right. See? That's why I do these trips, making shidduchs. I made them sit next to each other on the bus. Sharon said, no, and then look what happened. Let us rise together for our concluding prayer. May God bless you. May God protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka.
May God's light shine upon you and shine through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yisem lecha shalom.
You gotta always be a part of who we are, as individuals, as a community. Most of all, giving us our blessings to know, to appreciate, to experience, and to feel. Blessing us with shalom, with peace. Amen.
Chaya Samecha. Shalom.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please join us for our oneg over on the patio in the front of Temple.